Personal story segment tonight. The war over gay marriage seems to be intensifying around the country as emotions continue to run very high. Last Friday, a group of Christian evangelists went into the heavily gay Castro neighborhood of San Francisco. It was not pretty.
Dark neighborhood! And we don't ever want them coming back. Ever. Do you understand the other Christians? Do you understand that other Mormons? I'm talking to you people. Yeah, you. Stay out of our neighborhood if you don't like us. Leave us alone.
Joining us now from Los Angeles, actor Kirk himself an evangelical Christian. His new movie, Fireproof, is a big hit for an independent film. It's a Christian theme picture that so far has grossed more than $30 million in the theaters. Now, you watch this gay marriage thing in California. That's where you live. And you're also in show business, and I assume you know a lot of gay people, and you know how the movie industry is sympathetic to gay marriage. How do you process all this?
Well, the way that I process it is, it saddens me to see, videos like that where you see these kinds of riots going on. And it saddens me to see how far we've fallen from our ideals and the values that our country was based on. But my tactic tends to be to hold up a standard of what I think is right and what I think is true and give it the honor that it deserves, and people will tune into that. That'll resonate with people, and that's what I've been trying to do with this platform that I have in Hollywood.
Now, would you go down to the Castro yourself and talk to gays like these Christian evangelicals did? They went down there to say to them, hey, look, you don't have to be gay. Why don't you be straight? And, God doesn't like this. And would you do that?
No, I wouldn't find myself down there doing that in the way that you're describing right there. I mean, I like to talk to everybody about stuff that's important to me. When it comes to marriage, some people would say I'm a bit unqualified. For the last 17 years of my marriage, I've been married to only one person. But I do believe that marriage is for one man and one woman for life, that's the way that it works best, and that none of us really have any authority to start redefining that kind of thing.
Now, if
finding myself down there in that spot,
if a gay friend of yours said, well, listen, Kirk, I respect your opinion on that, but I have a different opinion, and I believe it's a civil rights issue, because that's what the gay lobby, and you don't have to be gay, a lot of straights that believe this too. Say, look, it's the same thing as the civil rights. I want the same parity that heterosexuals have in every area, including marriage, and you don't have a right under the Constitution to deny me that. And you say what?
Well, I'd say that it really comes down to who defines marriage. I certainly don't define marriage, and neither does anybody else. Marriage is not a new institution. It's been around for thousands of years, if not longer, and it's defined by God. None of us have the opportunity to redefine that without coming up against serious consequences and unraveling the fabric of our society.
Now, they say, okay, but I don't believe in God. I'm a secularist, and you can't make laws in the United States based upon what God says. And then how we answer?
Well, we can make laws in our country based on what the majority of people say, and the majority of people in our country say that marriage is worth fighting for, and they did, and the definition of it stays.
Would you say, though, if the laws were oppressive as they were against black Americans in, before the 60s, that the courts have a right to overturn the will of the people if the courts believe that the laws are oppressing homosexuals?
Well, again, I'm not, your best go-to guy for political issues like this. For me, marriage it's a theological issue, it's a moral issue, it's a family issue, and marriage is what it is, and we understand what it is, and when we start playing with that, there's going to be serious consequences for it.
Okay, now, when you put forth that point of view, the majority of Americans agree with it. And they say, yeah, that's the way I believe too. Do you respect other people, these people, the gay people, who are peacefully... Look, I don't have any use, and you know this, for the people invading the churches and screaming into the cameras and threatening people. If evangelical Christians want to go on a public street in the Castro and say whatever they want to say, they have a perfect right to do that without some guy
we have freedom of speech,
threatening them so the cops have to come. That's ridiculous. But if it's a peaceful demonstration, I don't have any problem with that. Do you?
No. Listen, it's a free country. I mean, we have people fighting in other parts of the world to preserve our freedoms, to have freedom of speech. Now, that's healthy discussion. That's always good.
I think so, too. I agree with you 100%. Now, the movie Fireproof is a phenomenon. It's a Christian-themed movie, and it's a big, big hit for an indie. Why is it a big hit?
Well, that's the $30 million question everyone in Hollywood is asking right now. On a little micro budget, it did so well. And while some people would say, hey, it's just good family fare with not a lot of swearing and not a lot of violence or sex in it. It's just good family fare with not a lot of swearing and not a lot of violence or sex in it. I have a unique perspective in that I'm getting hundreds of emails in my inbox all the time from people whose marriages have been transformed. And what I'm hearing are two things. One, people are saying, my marriage is in huge trouble, my family's falling apart. There's no pain like family pain, and there's no joy like family joy. And this movie hits that subject and gives people a chance to get out of the wilderness of a failed marriage and find some hope. And they're tuning into that. Number two, it hits the #1 most unreached demographic in America. 84% of people profess to be Christians, and most companies are not making quality movies to reach those people.
All right, I think you hit it. The movie is about, a guy whose marriage is transformed by a series of events, and Mr. Cameron plays the lead very effectively. Hey, it's always good to see you, Kirk. Thanks for coming in.